Hello, Tales of Glory listeners. Welcome back. We kind of got a little interesting small podcast going on today because something came out last night. It was from a demonologist that was published on Is Ghost Hunting a Sin? And he was actually inviting responses back. And I kind of wanted to respond to it because there was some things that the individual, it was basically on Deacon Tom Golden's Facebook, who is part of the Old Catholic Church. I think he's a demonologist there. And he had the topic as to whether is ghost hunting a sin. And he threw out the question, and the way he addressed it, it was just, I was kind of aghast. Right. And so he was allowing, he says, go ahead and make your comments down here. I'm not going to make comments there. I'm going to make comments in this podcast to get it out to more people. And I said, we're a small podcast. We're an underground podcast. We'll probably get more attention than I want about this. But I think for listeners and anybody else, like I said, if you come to this spot, it may help out and straighten some things out from things that were said in this podcast. Or actually, the Facebook video that Deacon Golden published last night. Well, anyway, let's just do this. Let's just run the bean footage, and I'm going to comment on it. Here we go, okay?
Thought I'd do a video right quick with you guys. I'll get this question quite often in my inbox. So I figured I'd go ahead and address it and see what you guys feel about it. Write your comments down in the comment section. Make a comment. Tell me what you feel about
right
this.
Yep.
And the question is that I get is, it's going to be a hard one. Is ghost hunting a sin? Can it be considered sinful? So let's look and see what the Bible talks about, what we would consider ghost hunting. I made a couple of notes here. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18, verses 9 through 12, it warns the Israelites against engaging in the Canaanite practice of divination from the dead. What's divination?
Mm-hmm.
Divination is the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown. Is that ghost hunting? No, we're not trying to get the knowledge from the unknown. We're not.
I want to pause him right here. What he failed to bring up was spiritism. What they're doing is spiritism. That is consulting the dead. Spiritism is actually almost like a new age religion now, right? Where they're all these people have these boxes and these toys they're talking to the dead with, these abominations, right? And he jumped over. Oh no, necromancy is just what you're asking for, but asking for information. Are is there a heaven? Is there a hell? Is there a future? Is there lottery ticket numbers and all this stuff? Yeah, that's part of necromancy, but he totally jumped over spiritism. Spiritism was being called out here. And I think he did a poor job, or he didn't understand it. I kind of feel, even though this person calls himself a demonologist, he's very new, or he's very weak in his biblical foundations. But anyhow, I want to interject spiritism here because spiritism is a belief where all religions are the way to eternal life. And that's kind of what's getting in here. And when you watch these Ghost Adventures and Ghost Nation and all these ghost things, they're mixing together a bunch of religions all the way from Christianity to Satanism and all in the middle. And you just pick which way you want. It's okay. However you want to spend eternity on the beach, whether it's with your pentagram on your chest, or with Jesus, it's all the same. No, it's not. That's a blatant deceptive lie, and this is part of it. Anyhow, I got myself rattled here. Let's listen to him some more.
Trying to get futuristic information. We're not asking will we win the lottery. And I'll get more depth in that in just a few minutes. Also, you'll hear necromancy. What is necromancy? Necromancy is the practice of communication with the dead, especially in order to predict the future. That's important. That's very important because sometimes when you're in a question and answer mode, you don't want to ask for futuristic questions.
I'm going to pause him right here because I want to look at some scriptures he totally blew over, okay? There was some deceptive stuff here. Like I said, either there's ignorance or it's deceptive. Either one, this is not a good presentation. Let's take a look at the scripture he called out. Deuteronomy 18, 9 through 14. Verse 9. When you come into the land that your Lord your God is giving to you, you shall not learn to follow the abominable practices of those nations. Okay. Verse 10. There shall be none found among you who burns his son or daughter as an offering. Right? That's the spirit of Moloch that's kind of over the nation right now with abortion. So highlight in yellow, anyone who practices divination or tells fortunes or interprets omens or a sorcerer, verse 11, or a charmer or a medium or a necromancer, or one who inquires of the dead. Who's inquiring of the dead? You got your EVP stuff out there, you got your voice boxes, you got your spirit boards, you got your Oculus, what those things are called, right? The Oculus box, and you got the spirit boxes and stuff that are talking electronically. You have your X cams and all this stuff. You are inquiring of the dead. It's labeled right there. That's what it is. Let's keep going. Verse 12. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord. And because of those abominations of the Lord your God is driving them out before you, you shall be blameless before the Lord your God. For these nations which you're about to dispose, listen to your fortune tellers and diviners. But as for you, the Lord your God has not allowed you to do this. Do you see this? Take time to look at this one. There it is, called out as a sin. Right there, he jumped over it. This is deception. You know, it's kind of like back at the serpent, on the tree of knowledge of good and evil, talking to the woman. Surely what God told you, that's not, no, it's okay. Right here. Surely God's not going to be mad at you for doing EVPs or doing ghost hunting. It's not a sin. It doesn't even look like a sin. Let's move along here. This was deceptive. Oh, that's not the only one. Let's keep going. Leviticus 26 through 8. If a person turns to mediums and necromancers, whoring after them, I will set my face against that person and will cut them off from among his people. Consecrate yourselves, therefore, and be holy, for I am the Lord your God. Keep my statutes and do them. I am the Lord who sanctifies you. Right? He says it right there, too. Why does he not want you talking with the dead? Because it defiles you. Death is a defilement to the holiness of God, right? So remember when back in the law, always they said if somebody touched like a dead animal or dead cow, they were defiled and they had to like stay out for a couple of days outside the city and cleanse themselves or something like that. That's the same thing going on here. Death. There was the Rephaim. There was the tribes that that came from the satanic angels, right? They were defiled, and so these people were worshiping. There was the occult stuff going on here. It was defiled. When you were practicing consulting the dead, you're practicing the occult, which is a defilement to God Most High. There it is. I don't know. Anyone that's trained demonologist cannot see that. I don't know. Maybe just sent this thing off in a box of Cracker Jacks or what? How do you not see it? I don't mean to be mean here, but the fact that it's a false teaching and it's luring a bunch of people into some dangerous waters, their salvation, it's dealing with this, right? Man, oh man. How about 1 Chronicles 10:13, right? He glazed over this one. So Saul died for his breach of faith. He broke faith with the Lord in that he did not keep the command of the Lord. What was the command? He consulted a medium, one that had a familiar spirit seeking guidance. He did not seek guidance from the Lord. Therefore, the Lord put him to death and turned the kingdom over to David, the son of Jesse. Right? God doesn't like that. He goes, these people are looking for EVPs and they're not consulting God. This is an abomination, right? Anyhow, let's continue.
Back in the day, in Mosaic law, the penalty for necromancy was death. They would stone you to death. So imagine a long time ago, especially during medieval times.
Medieval times.
People would get stoned to death because they were not worshiping the sky, but they were actually documenting astral constellations.
He's trying to tie necromancy scientifically.
How the moon would affect
Hold right here. Cut.
They got stoned to death.
He's trying to tie in the scientific aspect of these. People were studying stars like Galileo. Remember Galileo got in trouble with the Pope? Oh my God. And so he's people like Zach Bagans, we're collecting evidence. This isn't evidence. He's trying to justify it through science. It's another deception. It's not science. It's a bunch of people out there following their Their cult practices and spiritism. Anyhow, keep going.
So during your normal EVP session, people ask questions. Have you ever noticed this? Have you ever noticed that whenever you start asking questions like, what's heaven like? What's hell like? Can you tell if my mom or dad is in heaven or hell? Have you ever noticed that just activity just completely stops? I think that's when you're really pushing the edge over toward a sinful nature of the questioning.
Stop him right there. When you're asking demonic spirits if there's an afterlife or is it Jesus true, you're not a Christian at that point. There's something wrong. It's like Saint Teresa of Avila. You're not even in their first mansions yet. You're outside in the courtyards with the lizards and the snakes, right? You're not even in the first mansion yet. You can't hear from God. And you're being deceived by the world, you're being deceived by the practice of this guy who's perceiving himself as some sort of religious leader. No, you don't have VPs and say, hey, is my grandmother up there? Is she in heaven? You don't do that. You have these conversations with Jesus. And the more you have with them, like I said, go back to the interior castle, go home and throw your EVP stuff away, throw your spirit box away, anything. If it's defiled anyway, destroy it. I would destroy it. If you're coming out of this stuff, destroy the instruments. Don't give it away to somebody else. They're already defiled. That's how bad it is. But anyhow, you're in a position right now, if you're asking questions, where you don't have a relationship with Jesus, you don't know him, and he doesn't know you because you don't trust him. There's a huge chasm right there you need to get over. And the first thing I do is destroy those ghost hunting equipment and get back right with Jesus. Get what the pastor knows what he's talking about and get away from this guy. Sorry, it is what it is. Well, let's hear what else he has to say.
Is ghost hunting a sin? I don't think it is. Scripturally speaking, it's talking about a completely different thing.
No, it's not. What part of abomination do you have a problem with?
Also, let's put it into this perspective. Most people ghost hunt on the weekends, usually Friday night and Saturday night, sometimes even Sunday night. If you're out ghost hunting and you stay out way late, and you wake up in the morning, Sunday morning, and it's time to go to Mass or to go to services, and you say, oh, you know what?
The demons say, you know what? Stay home. That's what's happening. Demons, stay home. Don't go to church. Don't hear the truth. Unless you're going, this guy, you're not going to hear the truth anyway.
If all you talk about, everything you talk about,
it's demonic obsession.
Hunting, you're being overconsumed by
if he's a demonologist, he'd tell you that. This is messed up.
If you've talked to the dead more than you've talked to God,
don't talk to the dead at all. That's what's wrong with
sinful.
You. Talk to Jesus.
I'm not condemning ghost hunting. I'm not saying that it is sinful. I'm just saying there is a potential for it to be sinful.
The potential for being an abomination to God too. Well, we'll just skim over that.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's a bad opinion.
That's my 2 cents. Figure out, go ahead and hit that question. Like I said earlier, hit that comment button down there. Comment what you think. I know I'm asking for a lot of attacks.
Not attacks, it's just wrong. You shouldn't have published this in the first place. Bad.
Have a great day.
What did he fail to share this time? So you're a person that's EVPs, you think you're going to church, sit in this guy's church. I know Jesus. We casted out demons with him. We're demonologists. We casted out demons. And you get to heaven and all of a sudden this is rude awakening. I don't know who you are. Get away from me, right? We'll look at Matthew 7:21-23. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. On that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name and do many, many mighty works in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. What's lawlessness? We abandoned the law. Right? This guy skimmed over the law line. He abandoned it, right? This is lawlessness. Just because Jesus gave us the eternal gift of grace and mercy, we didn't throw the law out with the bathwater, right? It's still there. You gotta be careful with this stuff. This is horrible. This is bad teaching. This is a false teaching, right? Stamp it right there as false teaching. Anyhow, if you're new to this and you're probably wondering what am I talking about, you need to go back and listen to the podcast of St. Teresa of Avila about being Christ-centric, your mind, and abandon and leave forever this ghost hunting stuff. It's an abomination. It's not just a sin, it's a transgression against God. Remember 1 Chronicles 10:13? Saul consulted the dead, and that was a transgression. That was a sin against God. I don't know how this guy missed it. How do you miss it if you're a demonologist? How? How do you miss it? Anyhow, I feel I've rambled long enough, and I'm glad you guys let me interject this right now. It's a short interim podcast. I'm going to get back to my Advanced Field Guide Spiritual Warfare podcast and St. Teresa of Avila. But meantime, this came, and this just, man, it raised the hairs on the back of my neck. I was real angry at this person, this individual, because it's deceiving a lot of people down the wrong road. It's leading, this guy sounds like a Unitarian church, right? He's the old Catholic Church, which is an apostasy right now. It is. It's a heresy. And I'm not going to go into it. So it is what it is. And whoever's following this guy, he's not good. He's not good at all. I'm sorry. If you're following from other things other than being a Christian, that's fine. But zero Christianity here. I give him probably Jesus says, I do not know you. Jesus is still working on this guy. Jesus needs to work with this guy a lot. So Jesus, I pray you help this man out, because that was an apostasy. That was heresy. It was deception, just like in the garden. So what we have going on here is called Sark, right? He's not hearing from God either. If you're listening to EVPs more than you listen from God, he's not hearing from God at all, because this is called the Sark. That means this is an interpretation that came through the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? So it sounds good, but it's not God. It's ungodly. So folks, I'm glad for listening in. I'm glad you got to hear my viewpoint on this, and God bless you guys. We love you. And until next time, amen.